I hope that you have your thinking cap with you today because this is a puzzling case.
Is that literal or no?
What? What do you mean is that literal?
Is it going to make me have to use my big brain to think?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hello, hauntlings. My name is Alyssa, and this is my ghoulishly gorgeous wife and co-host, Lindsay. This is Macabre at Midnight, where we rate all things that sit on a scale, starting with the adorably spooky and ending with the truly disturbing. On tonight's episode, we're going to be looking at the Sodder Children. As always, we have a couple of things that we would like to mention before we get into that. The first being, we have a new listener in Canada.
Yay!
Hello, Canada! We are so glad that you have joined the HauntLink Club, whoever you are, wherever you are. Thank you so much. That's awesome. I was so excited to see Canada pop up on every single episode.
That's exciting.
It was so exciting. I was walking around work.
We did an episode that took place in Canada too, so...
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
we did
you're right,
do
the
an
Wendigos.
The Wendigos?
The Wendigos.
Wendigo. What would you sell at Wendigo?
Windows?
I was thinking wind. But whatever. So yeah, hi Canada. Welcome to Macabre at Midnight, and we're so excited to have you. As you guys can tell, I am still sick. My voice is worse off now than it has been so far. I am not as sick, but my voice is coming back, so I'm sorry if I sound like I am sucking on a gravel road while I talk.
Yeah. Tasty.
No. And we also have a TikTok.
Yes.
And a Twitter.
Or X.
X, yeah.
Yeah.
Edgy. So we have all of those things. We still have our Instagram. We are working on getting the Discord set up. We haven't really figured out the layout that we want for it yet, but as soon as that's up, we will let you guys know.
Same for the Patreon.
Yeah. So we'll get back to you guys on that, but we do have Twitter and TikTok and all that stuff, so follow us so that, whatever your preferred social media platform is, follow us so that you can get your updates.
Yep. Updates, announcements, all those fancy things.
Yep. Another thing, I am still trying to work out the echo on these mics. I am getting better and better. I've noticed the quality of the recordings is getting better, but there's still some points whenever we kind of get echoey, so we're working on that. We are in the same room.
Yes.
We do not have a very big house.
No, we don't.
So I don't know if it's going to be something that we're actually able to get rid of.
At least not until we relocate and can fit into a proper office.
Yeah, create an actual studio or something.
Yeah.
So just bear with us, guys. We really appreciate it. We are trying. Again, I know nothing about anything. I am self-teaching, but we're going to try and look directly at our mics tonight. We're going to try not to we get excited and yell a lot. So we're going to try not to. I get excited and yell a lot.
I feel like when I laugh, I kind of am super loud right into the mic. And I'm sorry if I've exploded your eardrums by doing that. I don't mean to.
I just wish you could have seen.
Yeah, you're not getting that again.
That's staying in. I'm not cutting that out. But you can't really help the volume at which you laugh, though. So that was funny. Thank you for that, Lindsay. That's going to be the next t-shirt.
Yeah, good luck spelling that one out.
I think that's all we have for now. Do you have anything?
Nope. I don't have any updates or anything.
Lindsay never has updates for you guys.
Nope. This chair's uncomfy. There's your update.
The same chair she complained about at the very beginning.
It's the same chair. It's not gotten better.
No. With that, we're going to go ahead and get into it.
I'm curious. You have me using my brain and scratching it. What's this about now?
She was using her index finger and scratching the aura of her head.
That's because my brain's so big it doesn't fit inside my head.
What?
Yeah, you heard me.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think so.
I do.
I don't think so. So we're going to get started. This is the Sodder Children. This was requested by Malia. So here you go, Malia. So this takes place in West Virginia. It actually takes place in the Appalachian Mountains. So we're back there again.
Ooh.
But don't worry, we don't.
Y'all remembered your rules.
Well, we don't have to worry about the rules this time.
No, we're not going out in the woods.
No, we're dealing with people here.
Ah.
Yeah, this is more true crime.
Those could be scarier than the things in the woods.
Yeah, the Winchesters said it, didn't they? What did they say?
You know what? I don't remember.
It's humans that I'm afraid of. The dead don't scare me. It's humans that I'm afraid of, I think.
That's fair.
I think that's what they said. I don't remember. But anyway. So this is the story about the Sodder family. George Sodder was from Tula, Sardinia. He was an immigrant and he moved to the United States in 1908 at the age of 13. George would work on railroads, delivering supplies and water to workers before moving from Pennsylvania to West Virginia, where he eventually began his own truck hauling company. There he met Jeannie at her parents' shop. They were also immigrants. They were from Italy. And their shop, the name of it was Music Box.
Oh, I like that.
I love that. I don't know what they sold, but wouldn't it be really cool if there was just a music box store?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be like magical?
I would spend all day in there.
I would. Yeah, me too. I'd live there. I'd buy all the music boxes. So the two fell in love. The music box. He fell in love with the girl from the music box.
That sounds really magical.
That does. That's so beautiful. So they fell in love. They got married and they bought a 2-story, 5-bedroom home.
Dang.
They had 10 children.
Whoa. And 5 bedrooms?
10 children, 5 bedrooms. I can hardly handle 2 dogs, so
that's a lot of kids to squeeze into 5 rooms.
That is so many. Well, not
2 per room.
Yeah, that's not that bad. I mean, you have siblings. I have siblings. I've shared a room with my sister. That's not that bad.
I've shared rooms with my sister most of my life.
Yeah, see? So the Sodders were pretty well respected within their community at Fayetteville. George was known to be incredibly opinionated, though, and he did not care for Benito Mussolini, who at the time was, well, I don't know if he was alive or not at this time. I don't know all the history, but he was the one who was in charge of Italy during World War II.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, and this is taking place during World War II. If you don't know who Mussolini is, he worked with Hitler for a long time. A lot of people say they were friends, but they really weren't. They were just kind of working together.
He was a business partner.
Basically, yeah. Political alliance. And they worked together until eventually there were some political decisions that were made that they did not agree with. So George was not really in support of Mussolini, but a lot of Italian immigrants at the time were still in support of him.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. George had some really strong political views.
That didn't cause problems, I'm sure.
Yeah, so he would actually, I guess he would get into heated debates with some of the other Italians within the community.
Heated debates.
Yes.
There's air quotes around that.
No, no.
Yeah.
Well, they were still well respected within the community. So heated debates, I think, is probably accurate. But we'll come back to that. This story takes place on Christmas Eve, and the year is 1945. 5 of the 10 children that George and Jenny had asked if they could stay up late that night. It was Christmas Eve, which was a special night. So Jenny or Jeannie, I don't know if it was Jeannie or Jenny. I saw it spelled both ways in a couple of articles. You guys will see. Because, I mean, we post our resources. So I'm not sure which one it was. But they asked her if they could stay up late, and she agreed. But she did tell them that before they went to bed, they needed to go ahead and close the curtains and make sure the doors are locked. So she heads up to bed, and at midnight, she wakes up to a phone call. When she goes down and she answers the phone, there's a woman on the line. And there's a bunch of background noise. There's like glasses clinking, and the woman laughs.
Okay.
And she asks for someone who doesn't live in the house. So Jeannie figures that this is just a prank call and tells them that there is no one there by that name and hangs up. She starts to head back to bed. When she's heading back to bed, what she realizes is one of their daughters is asleep on the couch. It is Marion. She's asleep on the couch, and the door is still unlocked, and the curtains are open. But none of the other 5 children who wanted to stay up are down there. So she assumes that they went to bed without doing it, forgetting to do it.
But did she check to see if they were in bed?
No.
Why wouldn't you?
I think maybe because Marion was asleep on the couch. So, you got to think, if you go in the living room and your kid's asleep on the couch and the other 5 are upstairs, and she's one of the older kids too, Marion is, I believe.
Yeah.
She probably thinks that she was down there when the other kids went to bed or something, probably assumes that she had everything under control and they're fine.
Right.
You know what I mean? So she's got that second set of trustworthy eyes down there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know if you ever babysat your siblings, but...
I did.
Yeah. So not even an hour after she goes back to bed, she wakes up to a thunk on the roof and the sound of something rolling.
Oh.
And just as she starts to doze off again, she wakes up to the smell of smoke and realizes that her room is filled with it.
Oh, no. Her room's on fire?
The whole house is on fire.
Oh, jeez.
So Jenny and George get up and they hurry out of the house with 4 of their children: Sylvia, John, Marion, and George Jr. Their oldest son, Joe, is away with the military, so he's not present at the time, but the other 5 children are still in the house as it burns.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Jenny tries to call the fire department from their house phone, but it's not working. So their daughter, Marion, hurries over to the neighbor's house. And as she's doing this, George decides he's going to try hell to get the other 5 children out of the house.
Right.
Okay. So he is absolutely fucking determined to save his children.
I bet. Jesus.
His first instinct, of course, is to go to a bucket that they have and fill it with water from the water barrel. But it's December, so
it's frozen.
The water's frozen. Yeah. Frozen solid. His next thought is he's going to break into the house. He's going to get his kids. He breaks the window and he tears his arm up in doing it. And when he goes in, the kids are in 2 rooms at the top of the stairs on either side of the stairs.
Yeah.
And the stairs are on fire.
Oh my God.
So he can't get to them. Okay.
And they can't get down.
Right. So the next thing he thinks of is a ladder that he keeps up on the side of the house. He decides he's going to get the kids out through their bedroom windows. So he runs outside. He tries to get the ladder, but it's gone.
Oh.
It's nowhere. He can't find it. And it's always propped against the house. So he has no idea where it's at.
So somebody just stole their ladder.
Somebody stole their ladder. Okay? This man is a quick thinker because he can't find his ladder. So his next thought is he's going to get his work trucks from his hauling company, and he's going to scale the house and get up there and get his kids out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's got 2 trucks, and he hurries over to them, and he gets in the first one, and he tries to start it. It won't start. He gets in the second one. He tries to start it. It won't start.
What the heck?
Yeah. So everything that can fucking go wrong is going wrong. And
2 trucks, no ladder, stairs are on fire.
Phone's not working. The water's frozen. Literally anything that can fucking go wrong is going wrong. And this man is trying hell to get his kids out of the fucking house.
Can't say I blame him.
Now let's go back to Marion here, who, if you recall, is making a phone call.
Right.
Marion cannot get an operator on the line. And at this time, 911 is not an option. 911 wasn't even a thing until the year 1968.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The way that this particular situation works is the fire chief has created a phone tree where you call the operator will connect you with the chief. The chief will then call the next firefighter, who will then call the next firefighter, and they just all basically they call each other. It's a phone tree until they all are alert, right? because there's no 911,
Right.
you know. But the operator is not answering for Marion. But a neighbor at a tavern sees the blaze.
Yes.
He sees the fire, so he also tries to call the operator, but he can't get a hold of the operator either. What else could go wrong?
I don't know. Murphy's Law.
I would like to say that doesn't exist, but this is fucking terrible. Because next, this guy who tried to call the operator, this other neighbor, he decides he's just going to drive to the fire department because it's like 2 miles away.
Okay.
So
Makes sense.
So he gets in the truck and he drives to the fire department. But it is just after midnight and the fire department doesn't open until 8 a.m.
Are you serious?
There is no one in the fire department until 8 a.m.
They're not on call or anything?
Well, no, they use the phone tree.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they use the phone tree. So, yeah, they're on call, but if the operator doesn't answer, if that first line or that first point of contact doesn't answer, it doesn't matter.
Wow. That's crazy bad luck.
Right. They should have, like, I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like there should be like 2 or 3, just in case, points of contact.
Yeah.
But what do I know? So anyway, they cannot get a hold of the operator. There's no one at the station. And it takes the firefighters 8 hours to finally get there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they don't get there until 8 hours after the fire of the Sauter home. And by the time they get there, the home is just gone.
And the kids inside.
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
So yeah, 8 hours. It takes them 8 hours to get there. Now, there are a few things to consider about this fire. The first is that some months before in the autumn, George had had his wiring checked by the power company, who had said that everything was good and up to code. All right.
Okay.
However, there was a guy who came and he asked George about getting some hauling work with his trucking company. And he was looking around and he pointed to the fuse boxes and kind of suggested that those were going to cause a fire.
That's interesting.
So I don't know what he saw, or I don't know, but he did say that they're going to cause a fire. Right around the same time, another guy who had tried to sell the family insurance that they had decided not to buy. This is another Italian person who lived in Fayetteville.
Mm-hmm.
So George says he doesn't want to buy the insurance.
Right.
He decides it's not for his family. And this guy gets angry and says to him, "Your goddamn house is going to go up in smoke and your children are going to be destroyed. You're going to be paid for the dirty remarks that you have made against Mussolini."
Wow.
Yes. So that's pretty incriminating. This is going to get so fucked up. You're not even ready.
It sounds like the whole community just decided to burn them out.
Just pull your pants up and tighten your belts, okay? Again, George hates Mussolini, so he tends to get into some heavy debates about this guy. So, you know, the Italian community, like, that's just something they butt heads on. So already there's some weird stuff, but again, it gets weirder. During the investigation of the fire, there were no human remains found.
What?
No human remains were found.
But I thought they were trapped inside the house.
Okay, yeah. So did I. So did George. But there were no bones. There was nothing.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, they were told, the Sauters were told that their children had likely burned to death.
Okay, but there would still be bodies.
Right.
Like something.
Right. So,
pieces of charred bone.
Right. Exactly. And there were none. There were none. And another thing, human bodies don't burn easily.
No, they don't. And it has to be a very hot fire in order for them to burn so much that they're like reduced to ash. But
right.
Even then, there should be like the smallest amount of bone fragment.
Right. Exactly. Like when you look at cremated remains, you can see the little white pieces of bone.
Right. Because it doesn't all break down right away.
Right. I mean, they can burn it in a day, and we'll get to that because Mama Sauter did her research. She did her homework.
On what? What do you mean?
Well, we're going to get into it. Jeannie actually tested this and burned different animal bones. She would burn like chicken bones and like ham hocks and stuff.
Yeah, just to see how
And
much would be left over.
Right. And the bones always came out charred.
Yes, but they were still there.
But they were still there.
Still there.
She also spoke to an employee who worked at a crematorium. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they said that it takes a human body 2 hours to burn at 2,000 degrees.
That's exactly what I thought. I've never worked for a crematorium or anything like that. I don't know why I know it takes a lot of heat for a human body just to be vaporized, but I do.
We need a divorce.
Oh my God.
Guys, you heard it here. If I'm ever murdered, Lindsay knows how to burn a body.
Oh my God. Listen.
Oh, I'm listening.
Do you know what you would have to do to have a fire that hot?
I know that in all the true crime documentaries that I've ever watched, they failed every time they tried to burn a body.
That's because fires aren't that hot. You have to have the right materials and things.
And human skin, all the fat, it makes it very, very difficult for the human body to burn. Like, human fat doesn't actually burn that easy.
And that's even if you strip all the clothes and clothing and different materials off the body.
Right. So, yeah, so she definitely did her homework. 2,000 degrees, 2 hours. Their house burned down in 45 minutes.
What? Sounds like an accelerant or something was used.
I don't know, because you got to think about how houses used to be made.
Okay, even if it was made mostly of wood, which I assume most of those houses in that era were, it was a 2-story house. So it's a pretty large house. How does a pretty large house like of that size just burn in 45 minutes?
I don't know, but it did. And I don't think there was an accelerant, because how would you douse a house? Like an entire house.
Well, then what was all that ruckus on the roof and things?
Well, there's a theory, and we'll get to that. We're not there yet. Back to this house, no remains are found. Again, nothing worked. Nothing, like, there was no ladder. There was no, like, the truck wouldn't work.
Sabotage.
The telephone repairman tells them that their phone didn't work because the lines were not burned, but cut.
Told you. Sabotage.
Yeah. So, additionally, an eyewitness claimed that they saw someone that same night with a block and tackle.
What?
A block and tackle?
I don't know what that is.
So, a block and tackle is a device that is used to, like, pull an engine out of a vehicle.
Okay.
I tried to see, like, if his trucks had the engines in them. I couldn't find anything that said that they weren't.
That sounds like it might be a large tool you would need to do that, because engines are not small.
Yeah, that's what a block and tackle is. The block and tackle is a large tool that you need.
Okay.
So that it's got, like, it looks like a mini crane almost. It's got like a hook on the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you pull the engine out of the vehicle with it. And they said that they saw someone in the yard with a block and tackle.
How would you not hear that, though? I feel like that would make a lot of noise.
Well, I don't know. Because I've never seen a real block and tackle. I've only seen pictures. So I don't know how big they are.
I don't either. I've never seen one in person.
You had never even heard of one until today.
No, I didn't know how they removed engines from cars.
Well, now you know. So yeah, someone was allegedly there with a block and tackle. Additionally, you were talking about the fire and how it started.
Yeah.
Sylvia later found a rubber object in the yard. Now, there's no confirmation of this, but George said that it was the casing of a pineapple bomb, which is kind of like a grenade. I don't know. They're really weird looking. Like, they're like...
What's a pineapple bomb?
It's a type of bomb.
Okay, why is it called a pineapple bomb? Does it look like a pineapple?
Kind of, yeah. So it's like the bottom rubber piece. I don't know. It's just got these things that like pop. It's really hard to describe. It's got these things that like pop out the type like wire things that look like the top of a pineapple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I would assume that's why it's called a pineapple bomb. but it's a type of grenade, I think. So Ginny and George, they refuse to believe that their kids are dead. And it only gets worse because then there are some alleged sightings that start
Of their kids?
of their children.
So these are the younger kids that were...
I'll actually list their ages later on.
Oh.
It wasn't all the younger kids. Like, they had like a whole freaking, they had like a 23-year-old and a 14-year-old and a 5-year-old. Like, you know, they had 10 kids. So they don't believe that their kids are dead. And then there are some sightings that are coming up. One woman claims that she saw the kids in a car as the fire was going, like looking out the window.
Wow.
Yeah. And I don't know if I believe that because,
How would you not see them exiting the house?
well, not even that, but like if she knew that they were Janie and George's kids, first of all, then why didn't she say something?
Right.
You know what I mean? But I don't know. Another woman claimed that she saw the kids in the diner hotel thing that she worked in, that they were passing through with 4 Italian adults there were 2 men and 2 women. And she said that when she would try and talk to the children and be friendly with the children, one of the men would like speak very sharply to the children in Italian, and then the kids stopped talking to her. They wouldn't talk to her. And then these guys just like kept giving her really hostile looks.
Ooh.
Yeah. And in something that I listened to, it kind of mentioned that apparently Italian, I don't know if this is true, I didn't follow up on it, but Italian, like, local mafias, not like the big mafia, but like small local mafias.
Funny you mentioned that because I was just sitting here thinking it was a mafia job. This is a mob job. That's why there's no record of anything.
Well, it gets better. Like, so they kind of said that apparently there was like a thing where they would kidnap other people's kids, like Italian kids.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I didn't look any further into that, but that might have been a thing, I guess. Apparently, this whole thing about her seeing them in the diner was pretty plausible. Eventually, the Sodders seek the help of the FBI,
Yes.
who refuses to help.
What?
Yes.
They're
And,
like, no, bro, they're dead.
well, they kind of like said that it's not really it's not a prerogative for them.
Yeah, it's not our jurisdiction. You need to talk to your local authorities.
Basically
about that.
Yeah. President Hoover actually sent them a letter, though.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, saying that although I would like to be of service, the matter related appears to be of local character and does not come within the investigative jurisdiction of this bureau. He did offer his help if he could get permission from the authorities in Fayetteville, so the police and the fire department, but these idiots said no.
We don't want the feds here.
Right.
Nah.
And I think they're covering it up. And
They were probably paid off. Let's be realistic. If this was a mob job, they were probably all paid off.
I don't think it was a mob job.
No.
Honestly, I'll tell you my theories at the end of this, but so
Sounded like a mob job to me.
as you get more information, it sounds like less of a mob job.
Mm-hmm.
We're sorry, Lindsay keeps moving stuff around and her mic's picking it up, but she can't hear. Yeah, she can't hear it because I have the headphones that connect to her. So
I'm sorry, I'm restless.
So the Sodders eventually end up hiring a private investigator who digs up some interesting information.
It's a mob job.
No. God.
Okay.
For one, F.J. Morris, you remember him?
Nope.
That's the fire chief.
Oh, okay.
Okay. He can't drive a fire truck.
What?
Yes. These are the kind of... So this idiot, he is head of the fire department. He doesn't answer. He can't drive a fire truck, and he denies the help. There's a choo-choo. He denies the help of the freaking president and the FBI.
Oh my God.
Right. Okay. So this is the guy we're dealing with here. Additionally, the gentleman who is selling insurance,
Yes.
he was on the coroner's jury who had said the fire was not arson but was an accident.
Oh. Sounds a little suspicious.
Yeah. So that's cool. Additionally, are you ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Morris. You remember Morris?
That's the fire chief guy, right?
Yeah, Morris, the fire chief who can't drive a fire truck.
Yes.
The fire chief who denied the help of larger entities.
Yes.
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The fire chief who doesn't answer a phone.
Yeah.
Okay. Morris said he found a human heart in the ashes.
What?
Yeah. But he put it in a box and he buried it on the property.
Why?
I don't know. So the PI talked him into digging it up
Yeah.
and then took it to a funeral director.
Who could confirm what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Morris, you remember Morris?
Uh-huh.
Morris, who can't drive a fire truck?
Yes.
Morris, who denied help from larger entities?
Yes.
Morris, who
Hit a human heart?
hit a human heart?
Uh-huh.
Morris actually hit a beef liver and claimed it was a human heart.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Why? Why did he do that?
So Morris, who hit a human heart, did it to give the family some peace.
That is not helpful. That just makes it worse.
I know. This idiot.
Guy, just do your job or let somebody else do it for you.
He can't do his job because he's on, he can't do his job. Are you kidding me? There's some shady shit going on here.
Yeah, somebody's paying somebody to do something to somebody.
Or somebody's friends with somebody or whatever.
Yeah, it's a mob job.
It is not a fucking mob job.
How do you deny that? Listen to all what you're saying.
I think that the guy who was on the council who got mad about the insurance did it. And I think that he freaking, he was on the council that helped determine this. So I think he had friends who he was able to freaking be like, hey, help me out here. I don't want to get in trouble for this.
No. There was more than one person involved. The whole area was paid off. Somebody had somebody who knew somebody that could pull connections. They sabotaged his truck on purpose.
That is like a theory, but we'll get into this. We'll get into that.
It was a mob job.
Oh my God. You're fucking okay. So eventually the Sodders reestablish a search and a Washington, D.C. pathologist.
Uh-huh.
So they reestablish a search on their property. Okay, they want them to look again.
So they're looking for remains again?
Yes, because they're going with it now. They're like, okay, so if they're dead, there's gonna be something.
There has to be something.
There has to be something. Right. They get a Washington, D.C. pathologist who finds shards of vertebrae.
Okay, so bone fragments.
Bone fragments, yes. However, the bone fragments were from people who were between the ages of 16 and 17, maybe 22, because they weren't fused and the center of fragments fused at the age of 23.
Okay.
The kids were the ages 14, 12, 10, 8, and 5.
Oh, so those were planted.
They don't really know how they got there. People said, so George and his wife planted a bunch of flowers in the area as a memorial type deal for the kids.
Yeah.
And that they said that maybe the bone fragments came in the soil that.
Are they using people ash for soil? I mean, what?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Nobody does. Nobody knows what the hell that's about.
Either way, it wasn't the bones of the kids that were missing.
It couldn't have been because the bones didn't give the right age. Additionally, they showed no indication of being exposed to the fire, and there were only 4 vertebrae. But there were 5 kids. Why would there only be 4 vertebrae?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Somebody planted those. I'm telling you, it's a mob job.
Oh my God. I'm gonna freaking mob bop you in the head.
You're not changing my mind.
If I bop you hard enough, I might.
No. Somebody's doing stuff, and they're covering it up.
Okay. Eventually, the case was closed. These Sodders were told by authorities that nothing could be done and that it was basically just a hopeless endeavor at this point.
Oh, cold case, huh?
Yeah. But in 1968, Jeannie received mail that was addressed specifically to her.
Okay.
And there was an image of a man in his mid-20s, which was the age that Lewis would be now, one of the kids who went missing. On the back of the the lettering said, Lewis Sodder, I love brother Frankie. Lil Boys, A90132 or 35. The image of the boy looks weirdly like him. Got the same eyes, the slant of his eyebrows are the same, his mouth is the same, his hair color is dark like his. So they hired another private investigator
Yeah.
to go find out
Who this guy was.
and the private investigator just disappears.
Because
Oh my God.
it's a mob job. Yeah. See? It's added up. I've connected the dots.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Uh-huh.
Shut up.
I'm a genius. Case closed. I solved it.
Do you remember when I said you were eyebrowy?
Yeah.
Well, tonight you are very, very eyebrowy. One might say you are an eyebrow.
Yeah. I'm a smarty pants.
Oh my God. So these people love their kids. All right. And there had been a point when all this had happened that they had actually like paid to have a billboard put up with their kids' images.
Uh-huh.
And this billboard stayed up until both parents died. It was up for years.
Wow.
And they were afraid that if they tried to reach out or put his picture in the paper or whatever, tried to find him,
Uh-huh.
that it would put him in danger.
Yeah.
So instead, they just replaced the picture on the billboard with that one. And this is so sad because a year before George died, he said, time is running out for us, but we only want to know if they did die in the fire, we want to be convinced. Otherwise, we just want to know what happened to them.
That's sad, man.
He died a year after he said that. He went to his grave and never knew what happened to his kids.
That's awful. Like, I can imagine, like, just going through your life with, like, half your family being decimated.
Your children. Jeannie actually wore black until the day she died in 1989. And that was when they finally took the billboard down.
Wow.
These people dedicated the rest of their lives to trying to figure out what happened.
And nobody would help them?
No, it doesn't seem like anybody wanted to help them. So,
Because it was a mob job.
oh my God. She's going to be saying that for the next week. I'm going to be in the kitchen cooking dinner. She's going to be like, it was a mob job.
Oh, come on. I wouldn't do that to you.
That's bullshit. So the current known and living Sodder kids continue to try and investigate. They theorize the local mafia
Because it was a mob job.
had tried to recruit George and that he had denied it, and that maybe the kids had been taken away by someone that they knew and had like tricked them like into coming out of the house by telling them that there was going to be a fire. They don't know if they're alive or not. No one knows what happened. No one has any idea what happened to these kids.
Wow. I wonder how old they would be today.
So Sylvia, at least when the articles that I read were published, which they were not published this year, they were published a few years ago, she was like 79. And I think she was the youngest because she was 2 when this happened.
Right. So her siblings would be much older than that now.
Right. That's just really sad. It makes me really sad that they literally spent the rest of their freaking lives trying to find their babies. And they never knew what happened.
Yeah, then you got siblings who, like, don't know what
happened either. Yeah, like, can you freaking imagine going through the rest of your life like that? I can't. Like, I cannot imagine that.
No, that'd be awful.
That would be really terrible.
Like, say like your sister disappears one day and then you're like, where'd she go? And everyone's like, I don't know.
And all the pieces are adding up, but you can't get any help.
Yeah, the police are like, yeah, we don't know. And we don't have the resources to look into it.
Well, and like it was a different time. So, like, I recognize that forensics and things were not where they're at right now.
Right.
You know, I don't know how everything worked back then. So it's really hard to say, like, were these people just failing to do their job? Or did they really just not have the resources?
See, I wonder if they would have, because you hear like some cases people will like preserve the evidence they find like that. So
Yeah.
that way it can be DNA tested
Later.
in
Yeah.
life. Like if the family who's still around want to do that.
Right.
I don't understand why that wasn't an option. Like, why didn't they be like, okay, well, those bones you found, like, why can't we just keep those? And then, like, if technology ever develops, then we can
Test them and see if the DNA matches up with the Sauter family.
Yeah.
Yeah, because,
because who's to say that the pathologist wasn't wrong?
Right. I mean, even just recently, like within the last few years, they found that, like, hair is no longer, like, really a valid way to identify people by DNA. So yeah, it could have been totally freaking different.
Yep.
So yeah, I would say that that's truly disturbing. It's very troublesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of elements around that. So, and the fact that it's still kind of like a cold case today and it's just like we talked about before, like the fires in Centralia, just something's like people had just let fall to the wayside. Like, well, I'm washing my hands of it.
Yeah. The government failed this family. They freaking nobody wanted to help. We don't know what happened. We'll never know what happened. You know, these parents were heartbroken. So I think it's truly disturbing. The whole thing is horrible. It's horrific.
Yeah, I think I could agree with that. I think this would fall under a truly disturbing case.
So that was the Sauter family, Malia. I hope I did that one justice for you. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this episode of Macabre at Midnight and you like spooky things, then you can catch us on Amazon Music, Apple Music, Audible, Deezer, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, and more. You can also help us out by liking, rating, and subscribing. We are always looking to improve, and we want to hear what you guys have to say. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok now as well. And if you want to hear us talk about something that fits on the scale of screams, or you have an experience or short work of your own horror fiction that you'd like us to share in our new listener library, then just shoot us an email at macabre@midnight@outlook.com. Until then, remember to lock your doors, sprinkle a little bit of salt in the carpet, check under your bed, stay spooky, and we will see you in your nightmares.
Keep track of your family.